Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys have had a very good start of the week. If you do enjoy the content, please drop that like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel, so thank you very much for your support. Now, just FYI, later in the week I will be traveling for holidays, probably around Thursday or Friday, and I'll be doing a lot of car driving, and then I will be recording from a different place. So you'll have a different setup, and I will only be back here in the castle in October actually. So it's going to be quite the big trip, but I will try to keep posting as much as I can. But yeah, this year, as you guys have seen, has been incredibly busy for me. So I'm also trying to take some very well-deserved vacation. Now, markets are a bit on edge in the sense of a bit volatile, both to the upside and to the downside. This is normal because there are two inflation numbers coming, PPI and CPI, which comes on Wednesday. Anything better than expected will be good. Anything worse than expected will obviously be bad. I have the feeling that it's not an official prediction, but I just have the feeling that the numbers will come better than expected to justify the cut in September. We are approaching the election period, so the Fed and the Treasury will be on the mood to give some handouts in terms of trying to prop up as much as possible the economy and the markets in order to create some feeling of positivity towards the incumbent. This is something that tends to happen around re-election, not necessarily when the president does the full 2 terms, then he cannot be elected again, he or she. So usually in that time period they tend to be a bit more neutral, but when it's about the re-election of the incumbents, then you typically have some more support from the Fed and the Treasury alike. I mean, Treasury already has approval to spend between $270 billion and $1 trillion between now and December 2024. So a lot of liquidity is going to be injected. We are entering the liquidity summer that Roll Paul has described, and we are now entering on that time period. As I've mentioned before, anything that matters is liquidity in the system in terms of risk assets. There are risk assets that perform better than others, but it's all about, at the end of the day, the liquidity in the system. So the Japanese stabilized that front. They've gave a clear note to the market that rate hikes would be stopped. All of a sudden, here we are. Pretty much the Japanese stock market and the global stock market crash lasted a total of a day, or 2 days, if you will. Once again, the people like Peter Schiff and Harry Dent came out of the woodwork, predicting all sorts of the demise of the human race once again. And as soon as they predicted that, that was exactly the bottom. I mean, from Sunday to Monday last week, Mr. Schiff spent from 9 p.m. to 2 in the morning talking and rambling about how crypto is going to go to zero and how the stocks will all collapse. And basically, he made the bottom through his Twitter spaces. Congratulations. He had a podcast tomorrow. Do you think he apologized? Do you think he recognized he was wrong? No. He said now that he was right, but the demise was postponed. Yeah, I mean, if it gets postponed in another 10 years, right? Eventually, when will he be wrong, right? I mean, eventually one day, but he will never admit it because the point is not to be honest with his audience. The point is to convince his audience that he knows anything about anything and basically have people go and buy his funds and get annihilated in the process. So that is his goal. There's nothing else that matters to him. And I just don't take my word for it. Check his track record. His funds are out for more than 10 years. Check the performance of those funds. Compare the cost base of those funds, and you make your own conclusions. Yeah, so I think I don't expect that major movements across the indices until these consumer price inflation numbers are out. And I mean, we already seen what they've done in the past, which is Coffee prices were very high. Let's just take them out of the CPI. Let's pretend they don't exist. And all of a sudden, the CPI comes a little better than expected, and the markets rally. Woohoo! Well done, everyone. Is that rigged? Of course, that's rigged. That's not the point. I'm not here to say how I would like things to be. I'm here to react and try to position for what things will be and not what I want it to be. The Russell, unfortunately, and that's been something that I've been getting wrong, into the sense that I thought that the Russell 2000 would outperform the other indices better than it is actually underperforming. Too many zombie companies, too many zombie banks. But I thought that I thought that the interest rates would progress faster into being lowered, and if interest rates get down, the Russell is by far the best, not the best performer, but the part of the market that benefits the most. Since I expected rates to be a bit down versus where they are today, that's the part that I got wrong, and I got it completely wrong in terms of timing. And I'm not like Peter Schiff. I'm not going to come here, oh, you wait and see, and eventually it will happen. No, that's not my point. I thought it would happen in the first half of the year. Now it seems more likely, if it's going to happen at all, it will be in the second half of the year or even into 2025. So in summary, I don't expect those major changes within these markets. And it seems clear to me that the market has now stabilized. The bonds have also stabilized. And basically we are here now, go a little bit up, a little bit down, and we don't leave much. Now, when it comes to crypto, we are back into a sideways channel that I've discussed in my last video. I said I thought we were going to be somewhere between 62,000 and 57,000. We've gone to 62,100, and we dropped to 57,100 or something. So we've been in this range. We can go a little bit down to 56,750 and a little bit up into 64. But I think we're going to be here in this sideways movement a little bit unless there's really a major beat in the CPI and on the PPI, but particularly the CPI on Wednesday, because that will give the green light for the Fed to print. Now, as I've said before, they should cut rates in any case, because interest rates, actually, if they come down, they will help CPI come down. I've covered this ad nauseum in my previous videos. But once again, here is a perfect example of what I'm saying. It's not about what I know. It's about what I think how the market will react to something. So I think if they cut rates, actually inflation will improve, because interest rates are nothing more than the cost of money. If you drop that cost is now no longer carried over into the consumers. And I think there's a big difference in the way of thinking versus, for example, Trump and Powell. So Powell is looking to destroy the economy by destroying demand, not destroying the economy, sorry, by making it hard for people to do well. Basically, you destroy demand. If you destroy demand, prices come down. In the vision of Trump, if you increase supply, drill baby drill, right? If you increase supply, you lower costs in any case, and you don't need a bunch of people in unemployment, which, I mean, to me it makes more sense. But in any case, they are both trying to achieve the same, but looking at completely different ways. And by the way, if you think the Fed is independent, that's one of the most laughable comments. Notice that in every Fed's meeting, Powell makes sure that he mentions about all this immigration coming into the country being helpful, right? And obviously, immigration is helpful, but not uncontrolled, illegal, that you have no idea who is coming to the country. That type of immigration is not helpful. Immigration through a legal process, through all the controls, etc., that is very welcome. But not 10 million coming and you have no clue who these people are. That is not helpful. What else? Yeah, so Bitcoin is within this range. Ethereum seems to be showing a little bit of signs of life. And I do hope that Ethereum starts to really carry the banner forward, as it's been really the third cycle curse of Ethereum. Ethereum has been underperforming completely, a little bit like the Russell 2000, if you will, but on the Ethereum side, Solana has been outperforming. I still like Ethereum. I still think Ethereum will do great. It's just getting some time to, fuel up the jets, let's say. As I've mentioned before, the second half of August, by historical standards of crypto, should be where you see particularly altcoins moving a bit faster than Bitcoin. When I say this, I'm not saying that Ethereum is going to start going 50% up per day. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you should start to see the second half of August to be a bit more consistent in terms of upwards movement. And September tends to be a very, very good month for crypto. We'll see if that happens. I hope so. And I think so. I haven't seen anything that will tell me differently. That's one of the reasons that I'm enticed to say that Bitcoin will be above 80K in the second half of September. You need to understand that if you go to YouTube, if you go to any news article, they are still saying the Japan crisis is not over and we are about to roll over and everything is about to crash and the end is here and we're gonna explode and all these sorts of stuff. Look, of course, if Trump gets an accident attempt again, if and successful, by the way, if the things in the Middle East escalate dramatically, yes, then but that is valid at any time of the year. If you're gonna live your life trying to predict and expect black swans, and then you should always think, okay, if this black swan happen, what does that mean? That means that in the short run we're gonna have some difficult times. But is this black swan event gonna lead into more liquidity created, into more currency debasement, or less? The answer will be more currency debasement. So once again, if you visualize 2025 and you don't waste your time trying to predict every little thing and every single report that comes out every week, and try to day trade every single narrative out there, most likely than not you'll do fine. But if you lose yourself into the most ridiculous minutiae, of course this is not a small detail what I'm talking about here as an escalation of a conflict. But think 2 steps ahead. Don't panic in the short term. One of the things that I found out, one of the ways that I made the most money in markets in general has been the ability to sit down on my hands. And sometimes it's tough. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that I'm kind of a machine that I'm just, this is all fine. No, it's not all fine, right? I also suffer and I also get the nervousness. I understand all of that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that I'm a genius and you guys are all falling victims to your own emotions. That's not what I'm trying to say. I understand it, and believe me, it's very hard to sit on your hands, but once you're not 100% certain of anything, that's the best thing to do. And particularly if you have people like Peter Schiff and Harry Dent kind of celebrating stuff, that's a very good sign, or a very good probability that's going to be the bottom. Now, Pulse Chain I think did a new all-time low or close to it very recently. The prices are very subdued. What is my opinion on it? I think somebody asked me. To me, my narrative and the reason why I chosen them as retirement coins remains unchanged. I'm probably the only YouTuber that likes Pulse Chain ecosystem that has never made a negative video about the coins. Why? Because what I expect from them, the reason why I like them, the reason why I believe that they do well, has remained unchanged. I think it's also helpful that I didn't come here like other people saying, these coins are going to do a 10,000x, like these kind of expectations into people. I've said no. I think they have a very good likelihood to do at least 50 to 75x, each of them, and I'm going to position myself accordingly that if they do, I'm already very well off. If they do more, even better I'm going to be. And I do understand that there are cycle 2 narratives that pump later in the bull cycle. And then I've invested about 10 to 15% of the remaining of my money into lottery tickets or fun coupons, which is trying to play with cycle 1 narratives like Andy, like Copy, like Pikamoon, like Bird Dog, like 40, and the likes. Some of them did extremely well, like Andy and Hoppy. Pikamoon I also did well, like a 3x, and Bird Dog I did a 12x. I think 12x is also a decent one. Others haven't done so well. By the way, I do have a new lottery ticket, almost forgot to say, which is the Matt Fury token on Ethereum, and I got in at 1.64 something million market cap. I don't even know how much it is right now, but I did get in very recently, I think 2 or 3 days ago. Sorry guys, I completely forgot to mention that, but I think it's at 1.8 million maybe. So I've been plus minus 10% from what it is. That's when I got in. Once again, same narrative, and it was 90% down, which is great. Still a lot of holders, a lot of interest, a lot of volume, a lot of activity. So to me, it's a good bet, and it was extremely in discount, below $2 million market cap. I put $750 into it. Now, if they do very, very well, great. I've actually more than doubled my Pulse Chain and PulseX positions by selling some of my lottery tickets. So I'm actually doing what I've announced that I was going to do. I would take some of these lottery tickets and I would rotate them into a bit of cash as well, so I can de-risk a little bit, so I can also control my emotions a bit better, and also into the ecosystem that I believe has great potential. You see, I disclosed my coins and my belief in these coins during the SEC, the announcement of the SEC targeting Richard Hart and the ecosystem. That's how much I believe in them. I've never made a negative video about it. Why? Because the reasons that I like these coins in the first place are the same right now. And the question that I make is it 2025 yet? No. Can it be the case that I made a major mistake and these coins will go nowhere, or they will do like a 3x, something like that, and I will fall flat on my face on that side, but maybe I'll do extremely well on the others, and at the end of the day, all the things go well. That is 100% possible, but this is why I've never incentivized people. I'm not a promoter. I'm not an official Pulsican and X. I just like the ecosystem. That's it. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I made a promise when I made this channel, which is, I said, I'm going to be transparent and I'm going to talk about my positions before they pump. I'm not going to come here after a pump and say, hey guys, I got this coin 100x, and now you guys follow me and you buy my watch list if you want my next 10 100x's in 2 weeks, like this kind. No, I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. So I've always disclosed my positions, because here I'm broadcasting my journey into what I hope to be financial independence and hopefully generational wealth. I think, and the community in my channel, which is absolutely great, has noticed this, is I've always remained consistent in my approach, in my message, in my targets, and in my vision, and I don't change. And some weeks the price is up, some weeks the price is down, some weeks the price is way up, sometimes the price is way, way down. That's it. And I live well with it. And if I made a mistake, that's my mistake to make, and that's my problem. And I will survive. I won't starve to death. I do very well, I think, for myself. I think my first target that I've mentioned to you in this bull market is a free house at the age of early 30, which I don't think how many people in their early 30s can say they have a free house. Number 2 will be financial independence, so the ability to retire and to live my own life without needing to work. That I'm not saying not working, I'm saying without the need to work. And thirdly would be generational wealth. That would be my utmost target, if you will, my biggest target possible. But any of these three, I will be happy. Obviously, if I get the third one, my God, I'm gonna be ecstatic, and you guys will be all here to witness it. In any case, is liquidity going up? Yes. Is the elections coming? Yes. Is the Saudis buying? Yes. Is, I don't know, FTX creditors, will they still get their money? 12.7 billion in USD. Yes. So I see a lot of positive things in the future. The thing is, I've said this 100 times before. People nowadays, the people don't want to buy. You see how many people were hoping for Bitcoin to drop below 50? It dropped below 50. Do you think a lot of people bought it? No, they were very scared. See? People don't want to buy Bitcoin at 40 or 30. They want to buy Bitcoin at 60 and 70. And if it goes to 150, then they really want to buy it. They don't want to buy Ethereum at 2,100. They want to buy Ethereum at 5,000, 7,000, and 8,000. And if it goes to 20,000, then they really want to buy it. See my point? People want to buy the green candles, and the more green candles you have, the more they want to buy it. When should they be buying? When you have deep, fat, disgusting red candles. But people don't do it. That's why a few win very hard, a lot win, but even more lose. That's it. There's no big conspiracy. It's just how our psychology works. And sometimes doing what your mind is telling you not to do is the hardest thing, but the best thing for your future. And with that, thank you very much for your support. I'll catch you in the next one. And don't forget, like and subscribe.